Give me the chocolate! You know, every time we start these episodes, are we always gonna have to start with you sleeping? Is that the thing that's gonna happen now? Look, we got a princess to save. Get up! What's up, guys? It's Banjo and Mario. Welcoming you back to another episode of Go Retro Mario 64. In the last episode, we took care of Whomp's Fortress, and now we have this mysterious glowing light here in the middle of the castle. So, and it's because we're smart people here, the first thing we're going to do is just stare into the glowing light and see what happens. Welcome to the wing cap course. Step on the red switch at the top of the tower in the center of the rainbow rings. When you trigger the switch, all the red blocks you find will become solid. Try the wing cap. Do a triple jump and then take off and press the Z button to land. Pull back on the control stick to go up and push forward and nose down, as you would as flying an airplane. Incredible! So, welcome back, guys. I'm glad that you decided to join me for another fun-filled episode of Super Mario 64. I gotta be honest, it's always fun time I have coming back to this game because it's a game from my childhood. There's a Michael Jackson reference, if you guys get that. I hope you do. But yeah. As I tend to do with a lot of these games when I do my little Go Retro videos, I like to reminisce of times easier and simpler times of gaming's past. You've stepped on the wing cap switch. Wearing the wing cap, you can soar through the sky. Now the wing caps will pop out of all the red blocks you find. Would you like to save? No. But yeah. So now we're gonna do a little discussion, take you guys down a little trip down memory lane with me. Here we go! Thank you for that send off, Mario. So yeah. A question that I get asked sometimes when it comes to like video games and everything like that is why do retro games sit so well with people who are a little bit older and everything like that? And I got a couple responses for that. Let me talk to these folks first, and then I'll tell you my little tale.
We're prepared loving bombs, so we don't use cannons. But if you'd like to blast off, we don't mind. Help yourself. We'll prepare all the cannons on this course for you to use. Bon voyage.
Thanks, dude. I'll gladly shoot myself out of a dangerous cannon for your enjoyment.
Ready to blast off. Come on, hop to the cannon. You can reach the stars on the tile or floating island using the 4 cannons. Use the control stick to aim and press the A button to fire. If you're handy, you can grab onto the trees and the poles to land.
Yeah, I don't really think I want to take any death-defying leaps right now. Gotta be honest. Hey, Mario! Is it true that you beat Babam? Cool! You must be strong and pretty fast. So how about a race, any? Fast enough to beat me? Koopa the Quick? You don't think so? Just try me. How about a race to the mountain where you beat the big Babam was? What do you say? When I say go, let the race begin. Ready? Go! And we start. So one of the questions, like I said, I get asked, why do old school games like these from like the N64, Super Nintendo, and NES era sit so fondly with you? Why do they make you, I guess you could say, nostalgic, if that's the right word? And I feel like one of the reasons why these games sit so well with me and why they have such a strong like history with me and why I'm so like humbled by them and enjoy them so much. I think one of the main reasons is because mainly I put a lot of time into these games, man. Like I can go back to the time when I was a kid and remember getting a Nintendo 64 for Christmas, and it was like the coolest thing like in the world. Like kind of how like, you know, the whole Nintendo 64 kid. Anybody remember that old internet video? Kind of like that. That's kind of what it felt like. Because, I mean, it was your first full 3D 64-bit console. Like, it was apparently going to give you games like you've never seen before. And Mario 64 was one of those games that I was just like, oh, I'm excited. This is what I want to play. And I got that was the only game I got that Christmas. I got Super Mario 64, a Nintendo 64, one gray controller. Whoa, you really are fast. A human blur. Here you go. You won it. Fair and square. And because I had only one game, like I was one of those kids where I could only really get one game a year. I couldn't get 2 games and one for my day, and then just out of the like, you know, wild, you know, guess my parents come home and bring me a new game. It didn't usually work like that with me. With me, it was I got one game a year, and when I wanted to play new games, I would have to go to something called a video store. For you youngins out there who don't know what that is. But that is what we used back in the day when we didn't have, because we didn't have things like the Red Box. We didn't have things like GameFly. We went to video stores, because when your parents would go there on the weekend to pick up like a video to watch, you would just like, can I rent a video game? Because they had video games, and at times you could actually rent consoles too, which was pretty crazy. But back to my point. Yeah, so I would remember like when I got Mario 64 for the first time, and I would just like I would sink so much of my time into that game. Like the hours I spent playing it, finding out where every star was, finding out how to get every like secret and everything in the game, finding like Yoshi in the game and everything like that, and then hearing like the talk of the playground back in the day when kids would talk about Mario 64 is just like, oh man, did you know that you could find Luigi in the game? Which I hate to break to you, but yeah, Luigi is not in Super Mario 64. He was in the DS remake along with Wario and Yoshi, but no, he isn't in the N64 version. And I know there were times in like video game magazines as April Fool's jokes, and they had like fake screenshots of Mario looking at Luigi on the course Rainbow Ride in this game, where everybody's like, oh, he's in there, you just gotta do this and jump through here and collect this and beat this level in this certain amount of time and you'll get Luigi. And everybody thought that, and it wasn't until, you know, like I think it was 2 years later when people discovered that it wasn't true, and it was kind of heartbreaking at the time. But one of the reasons why I bring this story up is just because I think one of the reasons why games like these well and, you know, I like so much is because they remind me of those times, you know? They remind me of the times where, you know, you would get a game like this, or like Ocarina of Time or something like that. You know, like, it doesn't even necessarily mean a Nintendo 64 game. It could have been like a PlayStation game, a Sega Saturn game, a Genesis game, a Super Nintendo game, whatever. It didn't matter. And it was all about just like that adventure that you would put yourself into. Like going through playing the game the way you wanted to play it. You didn't have any tips or secrets or anything. You couldn't look up YouTube videos or anything like that, or walkthroughs. You would just play the game. And I feel like in the way modern gaming is now, it seems like you can't play games these days without having a walkthrough, or without having like, you know, a website filled with all the secrets and the trade and everything in the game for you to like get out there, find all the secrets you need, and just beat the game. And then in the end, you don't really have that sense of like, you know, satisfaction that just like you put the effort into this, you beat the game, and you did everything to make it happen. And I feel like that kind of bums me out about modern games today. Dang it, I lost my shell. It's because you don't get to do that really much anymore. I mean, some people still do it, and you know, I'm totally for that. But then there are those people out there who just like, I just want that instant satisfaction. I just want to say that I beat this game and be done with it, and then move on to the next one. I mean, it's just, I feel like that's why a lot of people these days complain that there isn't enough longevity in games. And a lot of it has to do with just the way we play games now. Because I mean, if you really think about it, these days you look at like games that are extremely, extremely long. Look at games like Skyrim. Look at a game like Skyrim. That game is massive. It's huge. But people have found ways to be all like, I can slam through this game in an hour by doing all these glitches and everything like that. And then you have those people that like absolutely adore the game for how long it is. But then you also have those people who will put the hours in, but they're not discovering or finding things on their own. They're just looking at walkthroughs. And again, there's nothing wrong with looking at walkthroughs. I mean, I looked at walkthroughs too when I was a kid. But I didn't look at them through like YouTube videos or anything like that because we didn't really have that. What we had were like gaming magazines and stuff like that. That's where we would find our tips and everything. And if you even want to take it further, back when the NES was around, we didn't have like websites or anything like that, or some magazines weren't really out at the time. What we had were like these Nintendo hotlines, which was basically like an 800 number that you could call, and you would basically talk to a guy or a woman that had like a strategy guide or a game, and then they would literally tell you what to do, how to beat it, and you know, where to beat it. The only problem with that was that it was almost kind of like, you know, those naughty phone call lines almost, because like it's like, call like the Nintendo support line. The first minute is 99 cents, and you're just like, okay, cool. But then you don't read the fine print where it's like after each additional minute it's like $5. So you're over there asking, how do I beat Dracula in Castlevania? I don't know how to do it. And then you don't realize that you've jacked up your phone bill to up to $75 just because you couldn't beat Dracula in Castlevania. And one of the main reasons why I say that is just because that's how we played games. That's how we beat games. I mean, if we couldn't do that, we basically figured it out on our own. And in a way, that I feel like that was the best way to do it. Beating a game that way on your own, like, without anybody basically holding your hand, telling you what to do, and just like, hey, you gotta go through here, otherwise you're not gonna find it. It's that self-fulfillment, you know what I mean? That self-fulfillment, saying that you put the effort into it, you did the work, you made this happen, you beat this game your way. Nothing more and nothing less of that. And to me, honestly, that is like the best feeling in the world. That is the best feeling in the world. Because believe me, when you beat a game and you were the one who beat it and no one told you how, you get that little sense of fulfillment. As soon as you finish the game screen gives you the final end credit, and you're just like, you did this. And then you're just like, yeah, it felt good, man. It felt great. And it's like, there's no real other more accomplishing feeling when it comes to a video game other than that. Like, it feels amazing. And really, that's how we played our games back then. And it makes me kind of miss the fact that most people don't play their games that way anymore. And it really makes you think, is it because people don't want to play the game anymore? Or is it because we've gotten to the point where we're so like headstrong for just instant satisfaction that we won't even experience a game properly anymore, to the point where it's just like, I want it quick, fast, and easy, and then I'll move on to something else. I guess that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed games so much back as a kid, because when I got done with a game, I couldn't take my game to GameStop, trade it in for some store credit, and get a new game. It didn't work that way for me. It's like, look, you got this game for a year, and if you're lucky, you'll get another one next year. So make it last. And that's what I had to do. I couldn't just be like, I want to trade this in for like a new one. It didn't work that way. And I'll be honest, if I was one of those kids, if I ever asked my parents, is like, yeah, I'm tired of this game that you guys spent your hard-earned money on, go get, like, can I trade it at the store and get me a new one? My parents would have hog-tied me to the fence outside and just be like, yes, you can play that game, trying to get out of that like, you know, that knot we put you in. Trying to ask us to buy you a new game when we just bought you one. Boy, you must be crazy. That's what my parents would have done if I was a kid, with like now asking for that. If it was that way back then, it wouldn't have worked. But I don't know. Maybe it's like the nostalgia factor for me, or maybe it's me just being just that taper old guy, just be like, you know, when I was a kid, this is what we did. I mean, all I'm saying is enjoy your games your way. If you want to do it with a walkthrough, awesome. If you want to do it old school way and play it to the best of your ability, go for it. All I'm saying is just play games the way you want to play them, and just enjoy the way you have it. And if not, try to experience it a different way. You never know. You might find playing a game a different way might be the best possible choice that you can make when playing your video games. Like, you'd be surprised on what it can bring you. It can be something amazing. You never know. It'll make you experience, like, it'll really give you a new outlook on how you experience your games. It's like, wow, I never knew I could play this game this way and have this much fun with it. It's almost like it's a completely, ow, chain chomp. It's almost like it's a completely new game. Just discover new ways to play it. Figure stuff out on your own. Do it your way. And then after you're done doing it your way, try it the other ways. Use walkthroughs, use strategy guides, find those little tips and tricks, and see what it brings you. You never know. It could be something amazing, it could be something weird, or it just could be something completely boring and you don't know why you wasted your time. But you never know. But that's my little story for you guys. Experience things, my friends. Experience the world of video games. There's tons of new ways to experience it. There's tons of new ways to play it. Just have fun with it. And I think with that, this will call the episode here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Go-Go Retro Super Mario 64. And in the next one, we'll probably either take on the snow level or maybe the water level. I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, take care guys, have a good one. I love all your faces. I'll see you next time. See you later. Say bye, Mario. You're not gonna say anything. Alright, well, see you later guys. Have a good one.